What's going on, champions? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a trend that's getting so much momentum. In fact, this is a trend that's impacting millions of people negatively. And if this is not talked about, you and I are probably going to fall victim of this very trend. And this is nothing other than the job and opportunity scam. These days we're seeing so much of this, but we're going to be specifically exploring a story of a 22-year-old who basically got scammed. I mean, she almost got wiped off, if not for something that happened in between. These scammers, these fraudsters almost got her. She released all her personal information in hopes of getting a job. So we're going to be talking about this story, and also the things that I need to pay close attention to are the warning signs. The goal of this video is to help you understand how to spot these scams and what to do if you feel like you've been scammed, and how to ultimately avoid these scams. So we're going to jump into this very video and talk about the details, unpack the details of what happened and how some of the strategies these scammers, these fraudsters are using. These guys are getting smarter. These guys and girls, right? They're getting really smarter, and they're doing it in the most legit ways and the most legit platforms, except that the intention is really to scam people, to really prey on the innocent people out there. So we're going to be getting into this right now. So before we dive in, if this is your first time stopping by this channel, welcome. Consider subscribing now to join this amazing community to stay informed on the helpful tips for your financial wellness and success. So without much details, let's just dive into this stuff, right? There's a key number that I want you to keep in mind here. According to the FTC, $86 million was lost due to the opportunity or imposter scams between April to June of 2022. So in Q2 of 2022, the FTC reported that $86 million was scammed. And as you can see on the graph right here, you can see that just in 2022, $599 million, over $500 million has been lost to scammers. So this is a very critical number. I don't want you to take this lightly, so don't let this go over your head, because we're going to hear this story, unpack the story, and talk about this lady's experience in this video. Let's just dive into this video. Pay close attention to this.
I got scammed by a LinkedIn job posting, and it took me a month to post about it because it was really humbling and really embarrassing, and I've been wanting to make a video about it for a while, but I hadn't.
Did you hear the platform? She said she got scammed on LinkedIn. For those of you who don't know what LinkedIn is a professional social media, and this is a place where most employers post jobs and employees go looking for jobs, applying for jobs. So let's keep watching.
But I've decided I want to do that now to spread awareness, and so this doesn't happen to somebody else. So basically, I applied via Easy Apply to like a bunch of marketing jobs, remote ones, some in person, some hybrid. And basically, for one of them, I received a quick email back probably within a couple days, and they said they liked my resume and my application and they wanted to move the process along, yada yada.
We got to stop you right there, right? So this is something you got to pay close attention to. She got a quick email and she went through the Easy Apply. Not saying that the Easy Apply tool is used by scammers, but you got to pay attention to some of the tendencies and some of the features of these scams, right? It was easy to apply, and guess what? It was also something that basically resulted in her not even being suspicious at the time, because she went on to apply. They reached out to her pretty quickly. So things are happening in the, speed of light. So keep paying attention to this.
So I'm like excited, and they told me to download this app, which at the time I didn't realize it was a red flag, but like looking back, yes, it was a red flag, but they told me to download this app called Wired.
Yeah, never download any app. I gotta say that now. Never download any app that is not, a popular app and it's not verified. When you are applying for a job and they ask you to download an app, that is a red flag right there. So keep watching.
It's like a messaging app. I thought it was kind of like a Microsoft Teams situation. So I download this app. They told me to add this person as they're going to be my point of contact situation. And they were like, oh, we have this new software, we're gonna do an interview over the messaging platform. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. At least I don't have to do, I'm being naive, but I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I guess I don't have to do a face-to-face interview. And I was like
I said earlier, you got to watch out for convenience. They try to get you with convenience, easy, quick, simple. That's how they try to get you. So you got to pay attention to that stuff.
well, the company's a tech company too, and it's very futuristic, and it's based out in California. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, they said, oh, we're like a futuristic kind of company, so we're using this futuristic kind of approach to interviewing. So I believed it. Yeah. So they asked me like specific marketing questions, not just like tell me about yourself. It was like specific questions about marketing.
So in case you didn't catch that, they went from the app and the application, from the messaging, to having an actual interview with her. And they were really asking her legit questions that you would expect on an interview for the job position that you are applying to. So this stuff is really not basic. There's some level of mindfulness to it. There's a level of intentionality in these scams these days, and they really make it harder for people to detect. Keep watching.
They asked me, what does engagement mean to you? Tell me about a time you experienced a social media crisis and how you fixed it, and yada yada. And I had really thoughtful answers for each one, and then the interview was over. I don't know how many questions I answered, but then it was over, and I got a call back the next morning. I get a phone call from this man, and he's like, oh, Callie, this is Thomas Hines, or whatever he said. And he was like, thank you so much for your application and doing the interview. And like after seeing your responses, we'd like to move forward with the interview process.
As you can see, they are following the same procedure, the same similar patterns that you would expect in a legit job application or after a job interview. The same follow-ups, the same, reaching out. This is what they are doing, but keep watching.
And then they were like, another person's gonna call you. So then I did a phone interview with another person and spent like 10 minutes on the phone answering questions, and they told me that they were gonna give me a computer and a phone and other things because it's remote social media management job, which kind of is typical for that kind of thing.
Did you hear that? Remote social media job. So most of these work from home scams are really gaining so much momentum. And most of the scams that you are seeing as it relates to job application are mostly, especially since 2020, are mostly work from home jobs. So whenever you see a work from home posting, you got to pay close attention. And now she's getting to the real deal when she's talking about computers and the devices needed for the job. So keep watching.
Or in some jobs, you get a computer or a phone. And so I'm excited. They pretty much gave me the job like after a day of talking to them further, which again is a red flag, but at the time I didn't realize. And I'm running out of time, but in part 2 I'll explain how I knew it was a scam and what information I gave them.
Okay, so she goes on to pretty much explain in the next video that you're about to see here in a second what really went down. So let's check this out.
How I got scammed from a LinkedIn job posting. Also, that sounds like it's LinkedIn's fault. It's not LinkedIn's fault. Somebody was impersonating a HR person from a company that already had a job posted on LinkedIn, so they literally made their account look exactly like that one, so it looked very...
Did you hear that? So these guys are going out there and cloning an existing posting. So they take a job posting and they clone it, and some people even go to the extent of cloning the website of the said company that you think you are applying to. So you got to watch out for all of these signs as you apply for the work from home, easy, simple jobs. So let's keep paying attention to this.
Legit, because the actual job posting was real. Anyway, so they gave me the job, and then they were like, somebody's gonna call you tomorrow to get started with onboarding. So I'm on the phone with this person the next day, and they're like telling me that I'm gonna get a computer, I'm gonna get a phone, I'm gonna get a printer, all this stuff so I can work from home. And everything seemed like so awesome. But of course, if it seems too good to be true, it's too good to be true. The pay was good. There
you go. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true, right? You got to use your common sense in these cases, right? And trust your intuition. I can't say that enough. Trust your intuition.
The benefits were good, the hours were good, everything was good. So I should have known. However, anyway, so when things start getting fishy, and my hiring manager messaged me and was like, yeah, so about the computer and stuff. Like, they kept talking about this computer. They were like, so you're gonna be reimbursed for buying the computer through our portal. Immediately, the alarm bells in my head were going off. However, I was so excited about the job that I was like, let me see it through.
Yeah, like I said, you always got to take a deep breath, take a pause, and think about the opportunity and access it. And you got to trust your gut. Don't keep going. Let's see what happens.
I call my boyfriend because he works in like cyber security. That's not even what he does, but something similar to that. And he was like, that seems a little suspect. And I was kind of offended because I was like, oh, do you not think I'm like qualified for this social media management job? Anyway, but I kept kind of prying more and more with this HR person, and they were like, yeah, we're going to reimburse you for this thing. And they're like, we'll actually send you the check for the computer and the phone right now. They send me the money.
There you go. They'll send you a check for the computer. You got to pay attention to this. That's really how they get you.
Most photoshopped check you've ever seen, which would obviously bounce. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot to even say, before any of this stuff happened, they made me like sign, scan, and fax over all of my documents. So I gave them all my stuff for direct deposit. So my bank account number, my routing number, all that good stuff, they had access to now. They had a copy.
This is crazy. So do not, I repeat, do not release your personal information. Do not release your social. No job is going to ask you for your social prior to giving you the offer, or even, prior to meeting anyone from HR, prior to onboarding. Do not release your personal information. She's already released a lot of confidential information in hopes of getting this job. So this is crazy, y'all.
Copy of my driver's license. I filled out all the forms that you would fill out. It was on company letterhead. I didn't think anything of it. But anyway, my boyfriend does like 2 minutes of research and was like, the Wire app has been known for scams with job applications, and the exact thing that happened to me has happened to other people using this.
So yeah, I mean, really, this is really the bottom line here, right? When you hear about a bounce check, okay, you send us a check, or we're gonna send you a check and you make a payment, and hey, give us your driver's license, give us your personal information. That should raise your eyebrows, right? That should really get you. And that's a sign you really, really want to watch out for. And when you get people emailing you, but there's no phone number, it's just email addresses, you can't see the person you were talking to, all you're hearing is a voice on the other end, that screams run away. Run away. You're about to get got. So you gotta pay close attention to this. But let's jump into this portion, the part 3 of the video, where she talked about some really interesting things.
And I was like, I need to go to the bank and shut down my bank account, because not only were they gonna give me this bounce check, whatever, but now they had access to my bank account. And so I had to run to the bank, close my account down, dripping wet in my swimsuit, and I was crying in there because it was just so embarrassing. So I'm just standing in the bank like, hey guys, can you help me? And they were like, what's wrong? And then I immediately started crying, and I was like, well, I just gave all my checking information to a stranger, and I was panicking because all the money I've made this entire summer was in there in one account. So I was like, I really need to close that account down. Anyway, so I closed the account, and luckily I closed it before.
So guys, I mean, as you can see, this could have ended badly for her, right? If she didn't have a boyfriend that really helped her understand that this is a scam, or this was a scam, she would have just been, she would have been taken advantage of big time, and she would have lost financially. Not just that, her personal information, her banking details, they had access to her bank account. So you got to pay attention to these guys. And honestly speaking, I think one of the telltale signs for her was that the photoshopped check she got looked like scammy. But there are some scammers out there, some fraudsters that are really good at what they do. The checks they send you look legit. I'm talking, these checks look real, but they are not real, right? So you got to pay close attention to this. So we're going to be talking about some of the quick signs. What can you what are some of the red flags or the warning signs you got to pay attention to avoid falling a victim or to avoid being a prey, right? Or being preyed on. So the very first thing, like I said before, is that interviews, according to this report from the FBI is saying, look, these warning signs, you got to make sure that the interviews are conducted in person, right? Or through a secure video call. Right, so if it's not an application like Microsoft Teams, Skype, Zoom, not saying that if they use this, it's legit, but you got to make sure that it's not something else you're downloading to your phone or your device. And then next up is potential employers really are going to contact the victims through a non-company email. So you want to make sure that the email, the domain of that email address matches the domain name or the website that of the company that you intend to apply for. And then next up here is no potential employer is going to request a credit card from you. So if they're asking you for your credit card information, your debit card information, no employer is supposed to require that from you. That's a telltale sign. You got to run as far as you can. Next up here is job postings that appear on job boards but not on company websites, right? So when you look up the job posting, if you can only see it on the job platforms, the online platforms, but you can't find it on the company website, that is a red flag that you got to run away from. And then last but not the least here is that recruiters or managers don't have profiles on the job board. So when you're applying for a job and there's no recruiter profile, there's no job, no manager, no hiring manager profile, that's an indicator that, look, something fishy is going on. So guys, all of these are the key things you gotta watch out for. And again, it is not the fault of these platforms. These platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, they are really doing the best they can to fish out the scammers. But we as the individuals, we as the people, the users, have to pay close attention and trust our intuition and our guts as we apply for jobs on these platforms. So remember, $86 million has been lost to scammers in Q2 alone. And we're talking about $500 million in total scams that we saw in Q2 in America. So these are huge numbers. And again, if you have felt victim or if you've fallen victim of any of these, be sure to reach out to the companies directly and let them know, hey, this is what's going on. And maybe the hiring managers or the HR people or the senior managers within the company can help you, direct you to the right source. Again, if you've gained some insight from this video, if you feel like this video was helpful to you, give this video a thumbs up and also share this video with other people to help them get this information quicker. People deserve the right information to keep them safe and to help them prosper financially. See you in the next one. Stay safe and thank you for watching.